It all started one bright Saturday morning when I decided to take my dad, a retired U.S. general, out for some yard work at my new home. My dad has always been a stickler for order, and even in retirement, he carries himself with that unmistakable military authority. Something you can't fake. Little did we know, the infamous HOA Karen next door had already decided to make our lives miserable. Karen had a habit of wandering into everyone's business, complaining about the height of our grass, the angle of our mailboxes, even the type of mulch we used. That morning, she strutted across our property line like she owned the place, her phone in one hand and a bottle of pepper spray in the other. "What are you doing on my property?" she demanded, her voice pitched high and shrill. "I'm on my property," my dad replied calmly, tilting his head in that cool, controlled manner he always had when defusing tense situations. Karen didn't listen. She took a step closer, and before anyone could react, she unleashed a blast of pepper spray straight at him. The spray hit his uniformed chest, and for a second, chaos erupted. I rushed forward, trying to shield him, but my dad simply raised a gloved hand. His eyes narrowed, not in fear, but in that precise, commanding way that had once led troops in foreign countries. Karen froze. Something about the way he stood, completely composed despite the burning in his eyes, seemed to unsettle her. She had no idea she'd just escalated the situation into a level she could not handle. "Step back," my dad said firmly, his voice low and steady. "Now." Karen's hand wavered, and she stumbled backward, clutching the pepper spray like a security blanket. That's when I realized she probably didn't even know who she was messing with. "You need to leave," he said, and I swear the calm in his tone carried the weight of an entire military division. "Or this will become a matter for law enforcement." Her jaw dropped. You can't," she sputtered. "Oh, I think I can," he interrupted. And then, in what seemed like a casual aside, he added, "I'm a retired U.S. general." Karen's face went pale. Her confidence evaporated instantly. The spray she had wielded as a weapon suddenly felt ridiculous in her trembling hand. She had pepper-sprayed a man who had spent his entire life in command. Someone who, quite literally, had trained soldiers to respond to hostile threats calmly and efficiently. I could see the gears turning in her head. She had always treated the HOA as her personal kingdom, but suddenly the dynamic had flipped. Instead of fear or intimidation, she felt sheer panic. You can't do that," she shouted, backing up toward the street. "Oh, I already have," my dad replied smoothly, signaling me to call the HOA and the local authorities. "You've just committed assault on private property." Within minutes, the HOA manager arrived, flanked by a local officer. Karen, now red-faced and muttering excuses, tried to play the victim. But the officer didn't even blink when my dad presented his military ID and detailed report of the incident. Karen's story fell apart instantly. To make matters worse, word got out quickly through the neighborhood group chat. Karen, once feared for her aggressive HOA antics, became the laughingstock. Memes popped up showing her pepper spray fiasco with captions like, "When you try to taste a general." For the rest of the week, Karen avoided our property like the plague. Any time she appeared near our yard, she kept a safe distance, glancing nervously over her shoulder. My dad, on the other hand, went back to trimming the hedges with his usual calm precision, as if nothing had happened. The best part? The HOA eventually had to apologize formally and revoke her access to patrol our block. It was a rare moment of justice in a world where HOA disputes usually drag on for months. By the end of the month, Karen had been replaced on the board, and our yard remained untouched. My dad, of course, made a point of reminding me, sometimes a calm, firm presence speaks louder than any confrontation, and after watching him handle Karen, I'd never doubted that for a second. From then on, whenever someone new moved into the neighborhood, we would casually mention, "Watch out for Karen, but don't worry, Dad's retired, but he still knows how to command respect." And Karen? She never dared cross our property line again. Not once.